Good morning, everyone. Today, we are going to focus on essential aspect of your A-level studies. Mastering general insurance through multiple choice questions. And our goal is to explore strategies for effectively tracking these questions, understanding common pitfalls, and enhancing your overall performance in this area. Without further ado, let's get into it. The diagram below was drawn from an electron micrograph of an animal cells, which diagram would represent the same cells seen under a simple light daylight as the only light source. The correct answer will be D. The diameter of the red blood cells in the diagram was measured as 2.5 centimeter, and the actual diameter of the red blood cells was 7 micrometer. Which calculation would give the correct magnifications for the red blood cells in the diagram? To find the correct magnifications for the red blood cells in the diagram, we need to compare the size as depicted in the diagrams to its actual size. The diameter of the red blood cells in the diagram was measured as 2.5 centimeter, and its actual diameter is 7 micrometers. First, we have to convert 2.5 centimeter to micrometer, which is 2.5 centimeter equals to 2.5 times 10 to the power of negative 2 meters, which is equivalent to 2.5 times 10 to the power of negative 2 times 10 to the power of 6 micrometer, and which is equivalent to 25,000 micrometer. And now we can calculate the magnification factors by dividing the measured size in the diagram by the actual size. Magnification is equal to measured size in the diagram divided by the actual size. You get the value of 3,571.43. So among the given options, the correct calculations that give the magnification factors is 25,000 over 7, and the correct answer will be C. The diagram shows a fin wheel drawn to scale. A student made 3 statements about the diagram. The magnification is multiply 0.006. The ratio of actual size to diagram size is 1,667 to 1, and the fin wheel has the actual length of 24 meters. Which statements are correct? That magnification is times 0.006 suggests the actual size is much larger than the diagram size. And the ratio of the actual size to diagram size is 1,667 to 1. And this statement indicates that the actual size of the fin wheels is 1,667 times larger than the size depicted in the diagram. If the diagram shows the wheel as a 3 meter long, then the actual size would be 1,667 multiplied by 3, which is equivalent to 5 over 1. And this is a plausible way to express magnification and seems correct. And the third one is the fin wheel has an actual length of 24 meters. According to the statement 2, if the diagram size is 3 meter and the ratio is 1,667 to 1, then the actual size would be much larger than 24 meters. And therefore, statement 3 contradicts statement 2 and appears incorrect. So the correct answer will be 1 and 2, which is B. Number 4, which structures are found in both chloroplasts and mitochondria? This is actually a common question where it already exists in May 2020, which is the question is asking about eukaryotic cells. And the correct answer will be 1 and 3, which is 70S ribosomes and circular DNA. In typical eukaryotic cells, you could find 80S ribosomes and DNA chromosome. 70S chromosome and circular DNA are typically found in prokaryotic cells, such as bacteria, although 70S ribosomes and circular DNA can also be found in the mitochondria and chloroplasts of eukaryotic cells. Radioactively labeled amino acids are introduced into a cell that effectively secreted an enzyme in which cell structures where the radioactivity first become concentrated. The answer will be A. Ribosome exists as a separate subunit that are bound together during protein synthesis. What do these subunits consist of? Ribosomes are composed of rRNA and protein. The ribosomal subunit consists of ribosomal RNA and various protein. 4 solutions were tested with Benedict solution. The table shows the color of the solution after testing. Which row shows solution that could have given this result? A is actually matches all the colors correctly, where 0.05 reducing sugar is a green, 0.5 non-reducing sugar is a blue, and solution 3, 1% reducing sugar is a brick red, and solution 4, 0.1% reducing sugar is yellow. B has solution 1 as yellow instead of green, so it is incorrect. C has solution 1 as brick red instead of green, so it is incorrect. And D does not match any of the color correctly. So as a conclusion, row A or the answer A is the correct choice and it matches all the expected result. Number 8, the diagram shows a molecule of 3 exosugars. This is also a common question, which already asked in May examination paper 2019. But the tricky part is, the question is asked you to compare to show the example of carbohydrate in which 3 exosugars occurs. And instead of amylopectin, it replaced with a starch. By knowing that starch is a mixture of 2 substances, which is amylose and amylopectin. Amylopectin molecule is very similar to glycogen. So the answer for these questions would be A. Number 9, which features of glycogen distinguishes glycogen from starch? The features that distinguishes glycogen from starch is A, which is all glycogen molecules are highly branched, while both glycogen and starch are polysaccharides made of alpha glucose and contain 1,4 glycosidic bond, which is glycosidic is notably more branched than starch. Starch, which include amylose and amylopectin, has fewer branches compared to the highly branched structures of glycogen. A student wrote 4 statements about what happened during hydrolysis of a carbohydrate. During the hydrolysis of a carbohydrate, the correct statements are glycosidic bonds are broken and monosaccharides can be formed. Monosaccharide can be formed from the hydrolysis of polysaccharide or disaccharide, which is statement 1 and 3 are incorrect because disaccharides are broken down into monosaccharide, not formed from them, and molecules of water are actually used, not released in the hydrolysis process. Number 11, the table compares 3 molecules XYZ which contain the elements carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen only. The percentage of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms in each molecule is shown, and which row correctly identify molecules X, Y, and Z. The answer will be X is represent monosaccharide, Y is a polysaccharide, and Z is triglyceride. Which statement about the differences between phospholipid and triglycerides are correct? The answer will be D, which is 3 only. Phospholipids are polar molecules, but triglycerides are non-polar. So this can be explained through both phospholipid and triglyceride have hydrophobic regions, In phospholipid, the hydrophobic region is the fatty acid tails, and in triglyceride, the fatty acid chains are also hydrophobic. The fatty acid in phospholipid can be either saturated or unsaturated, just like in triglyceride. Phospholipids are polar molecule due to their hydrophilic state and hydrophobic tails, whereas triglycerides are non-polar because they have only hydrophobic tails and lack a distinct hydrophilic parts. An investigation was carried out into the effect of different treatments on the permeability of the cell surface membrane and tonoplasm of beetroot cells. Beetroot cells vacuoles contain the red pigment. This pigment is unable to pass out of the cells because it cannot diffuse through the tonoplasm or cell surface membrane. 1 centimeter cube were cut from beetroot tissue and washed in running water for 20 minutes to remove any pigment released from damaged cells. The cube were then placed in tube with different content and observed for 5 minutes, which row show a correct explanation for the observation recorded for one of the treatment. So the answer will be C. 14. Which level of protein structure can determine the specificity of an enzyme? The level of protein structure that can determine the specificity of the enzymes are tertiary and quaternary. This can be explained through tertiary structures. The three-dimensional shape of the protein, including the active site, is crucial for substrate binding and enzyme specificity. Quaternary structures for enzyme with multiple subunits, the arrangements of the subunit can also affect specificity and activity, while the primary structures provide the sequence of amino acids, and the secondary structure involve local folding patterns like alpha helices and beta sheet. The tertiary and quaternary structures are directly involved in determining the enzyme specificity. 15. The graph shows the effect of substrate concentration on the initial rates of an enzyme catalyzed reaction. The enzyme concentration is constant. This can be explained about the graph is between R and S. The number of enzyme molecules is limiting to the rate of reaction. The diagram represents the reversible interactions between the active sites of an enzyme and different inhibitor X and Y, which row correctly identify the type of inhibition shown by inhibitor X and Y. The answer will be X represent competitive and Y is non-competitive. Which statement about the movement of water in and out of cells are correct? The correct statement about the movement of water in and out of cells are: water moves from region of more negative water potential to region of less negative water potential. And number 2, water can cross cell membrane by passing through channel protein. Reason being is statement number 1. This is accurate because water moves from area of lower solid concentration, higher water potential, to the area of higher solid concentration, which is lower water potential. And statement number 2 can be explained through water moves through cell membrane primarily via specialized water channel called aquaporin. And statement number 3, water can pass through cellular cell wall. This is untrue, or this is false, can be explained through while water can move through cell wall, this movement is typically more related to the cell wall permeability and does not directly involve the water potential gradient as described in the statement 1. That is made the statement false. The diagram shows part of the cell surface membrane, which row correctly identify functions of 2 of the number molecules. So, the correct answer will be B. 19. During mitosis in animal cells, which process occurs after phosphorase? After phosphate mitosis, the next process that occurs is centromere attached to spindle microtubes. This step is known as metaphase, where the chromosome align at the cell's equatorial plane and the centromeres are connected to the spindle fibers. Embryonic stem cells are able to replicate continuously. What happened to the telomeres during repeated mitotic cell cycles of embryonic stem cells? During repeated mitotic cell cycles of embryonic stem cells, the telomeres generally stay the same length. Embryonic stem cells have mechanism to maintain the length of the telomeres, which is allow them to replicate continuously without significant telomere shortening. And the length of DNA was analyzed and sequenced. 24% of it nitrogenous base were adenine, and which percentage of the bases will be cytosine. According to paragraph rules, in double-stranded DNA, the percentage of adenine equals the percentage of thymine, and the percentage of guanine equal to the percentage of cytosine. Given that in the question, 24% of the bases are adenine, 24% of the bases were also thymine. If 24% of the bases are adenine, then 24% of the bases must be thymine, as adenine pair with the thymine in the double-stranded DNA. So this accounts for 25% plus 24%, we will get the value of 48% of the bases. And the remaining 52% of the bases must be divided equally between guanine and cytosine. Thus, each of these will be 52% divided by 2, you get the value of 26%. So the percentage of cytosine is indeed 26%. Rifampicin is an antibiotic used to treat TB. It works by inhibiting RNA polymerase in bacteria, which processes are directly inhibited by the antibiotic. The answer will be transcription. This can be explained to rifampicin directly inhibited transcription by binding to bacterial RNA polymerase, which prevent it from synthesizing RNA from DNA template. It does not directly affect DNA replications or ATP synthesis. Which term describes the method by which water is transported within xylem vessels element? And the term that describes the method by which water is transported within xylem vessels elements are mass flow and cohesion tension. Mass flow refers to the bulk movement of water through the xylem vessels due to pressure differences. And cohesion tension describes the process where water is pulled up through the xylem vessels due to the cohesion of water molecule and the tension created by the transpiration. And osmosis is actually primarily describe the movement of water across cell membrane rather than through xylem vessels. Which combination of features is a characteristic of a fully sieve tube element as it is loaded from a source? This can be explained through their water potential is more negative, which is lower than that of a source because they are filled with sugars. They do not have lignified cell walls. So the correct options will be C. 25. The diagram shows transverse section of part of a plant with some transport tissue labeled from 1 to 6. Which row show tissue that mainly transport water and tissue that mainly transport sucrose? There will be C. Which properties of lignin are important for the function of xylem vessels in the stem of our rose plant, such as a tree? The answer will be A, because it is inflexible, which is lignin make the xylem vessel rigid, helping them maintain shape. It is not permeable to water. Lignin prevent water from leaking out of the vessels. And number 3, it is strong to resist collapse under pressure because lignin helps the vessel withstand pressure without collapsing. A heating sleeve was placed around a trunk of a small tree at a height of 1 meter above the ground. This would allow a narrow region of a tree trunk to be heated to 60 Celsius. How will heating this region to 60 Celsius affect the transport of William sap and xylem sap between the roots and leaf? The answer will be C. The photomicrograph shows a section through a structure found in a mammal bill using a light microscope. What are the main components of layer W? It's indicate that collagen fiber. Which road correctly identify the location in which a type of molecule or cell can be present? The answer will be the correct rule for identifying the location in which each type of molecule or cell can be represented in B. Glucose is found in the blood and tissue fluid, but not typically in limb. Which statement about the formation of hemoglobinic acid are correct? The answer will be statement 1 and 2. It is linked to the actions of carbonate hydroxide, means that this enzyme helps form carbonic acid, which then produce hydrogen ion. And the statement 2, it prevents blood from becoming too acidic by removing excess hydrogen ion. This is because of the hemoglobin bind excess hydrogen ion, which is helped to keep blood pH stable. And it does not depend on oxygen binding to hemoglobin. The graph shows the oxygen deassociation curve of hemoglobin for each space of normal. And which conclusion is consistent with the data shown in the graph? The answer will be B. The hemoglobin of larger mammal will release oxygen at the high partial pressures of oxygen than that of smaller mammals. The statement lists some of the events in the cardiac cycle that are not in the correct order. So this is actually the common questions which already exist in the examination paper May 2021. Which statement describes the second of 3 events to occur in the cardiac cycle. The circle here is actually indicate the correct step. First would be the muscle tissue of the sinoatrial nodes contract. Number 2 is followed by a wave of excitation sweeps across the atria. Number 3 will be the atria contract. Number 4 will be the atrioventricular nodes will raise the impulse for the fractions of the second. Number 5 would be the impulse travels through protein tissue. And number 6, the wave of excitation sweep upwards from the base of the ventricles. And number 7 will be the ventricles contracts. So which statement describes the second? Means the second of this event. Okay, the second of the event to occur in the cardiac cycle, there will be number 6. 33, which statement about typical bronchioles is correct? The correct will be they have smooth muscle and ciliated cells. Typical bronchioles have smooth muscle to regulate airflow and ciliated tissue to help move mucus out of the airways. And they do not have cartilage, which is present in larger airways like the bronchi. 34, tobacco smoke contains substances that affect the functioning of the human body and which show the substances matches with the correct effect. The answer will be B, which is W. Represent the effect of W will be decreases oxygenation of hemoglobin, and the effect of carbon monoxide will be increases risk of blood clotting, and the effect of tar will be the increases risk of cancer. 34B. Which 2 diseases are transmitted by airborne droplets? The answer will be measles and tuberculosis TB. Both measles and TB can spread through tiny droplets in the air when an infected person coughs or sneezes. Cholera and malaria are not transmitted this way. Cholera is spread through contaminated water, and malaria is transmitted by mosquito. 36. Which features do the causative agents of measles, malaria, and TB have in common? The answer would be D, which is the causative agent of measles, malaria, and tuberculosis have the following features in common. Cytoplasm, only present in protozoa, malaria, and bacteria, and not in viruses, measles. And ability to produce ATP, only present in protozoa and bacteria, but not in viruses. And surface antigen, it's present in all three. So the features that have in common are, the correct answer will be D. And 37, which explain why most viruses can cause diseases in humans are unaffected by antibiotics. The answer will be viruses reproduce inside living eukaryotic cells. This can be explained by when the antibiotic targets specific bacteria, processes, and structure, such as cell wall or ribosome, which are not present in viruses. And since viruses reproduce inside the host cells and rely on the host cellular machinery, antibiotics cannot effectively target them. Why does the white blood cell count increase in people with leukemia? And the white blood cells count increases in people with leukemia because more lymphocytes are produced in the bone marrow. In leukemia, the bone marrow produces an excessive number of abnormal white blood cells, often lymphocytes, which crowd out normal cells and lead to an elevated white blood cells count. 38. Where are antibiotics found during an immune response? During an immune response, antibiotics are not found on the surface of pathogen. Antibodies are not found on the surface of memory cells. Instead, memory cells have receptors specific to the antigen that have encountered before. So the correct answer will be D. And number 40, the graph shows the changes that occurred in the concentrations of antibody in the blood of a baby before birth and during the first few months after birth. Which description about the changes in immunity during the first few months after birth is correct? The correct will be passive artificial immunity decreases, active natural immunity increases. That's all for today's sessions. Thank you very much for your cooperations. Don't forget to hit the like button, turn on your notifications to stay updated, and please don't forget to subscribe to John Study Learn YouTube channel.